All right, Double Cross, Cantarella. This is a very standard list of what we've been seeing on ladder for what feels like years, but it's probably only been weeks. Still, Cam's feeling confident in piloting this list. Obviously, it's Nilfgaard. It's definitely a little bit tricky in terms of piloting and drawing cards and stuff. That's I feel like Nilfgaard in general has quite some tricky plays to do, but this is something that we've seen definitely plays a little bit differently. Cams is included. We have some cavalries here looking to lock things. Obviously, the Cantarella combination of Cantarellaing maybe a Joachim back, pulling off that ball combo, not really having to miss out on not drawing your aristocrats. You can kind of try to get that Gorther going for a round 3 potentially. I mean, mirrors are played a little bit differently, but it's definitely a very flexible list in that regard. Some combos that you want to pull, but Artorias is being really strong. You do have a little bit of thinning. It looks a little bit different from previous patches. The hunting pack being those thinning cards for this list, and not those brigades that we're kind of used to seeing. Also, in experimental remedy can help you find something nice. You have assimilate points. Ball helps assimilate. The usual suspects in terms of gold cards, definitely. Roderick, Joachim, Usurper, Ball being the main point card to have. I don't know what to say about this one. Very standard what we see on ladder.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are familiar with this list.
I know we don't have the Google Translate on stream, but I'm looking at the Google Translate to look at the list right now, and I see a certain card you might like, the Ducal Guards translation, the Prince Ceely card, or Prince Ceely guard is
Prince Ceely.
but yeah, I mean, Cam's very much does like to go with the approach in terms of like lineups for tournaments of go with what you know, at least for more of these like and it is just a recent patch. I mean, it's only a couple days into the new one, so like people are still trying to figure things out and figuring out what the changes is going to really do. So kind of just going with what you know into the new patches.
I'm kind of looking like in these Nilfgaard lists. I'm interested to see if people would include those one-off. What is this, Impera something? The guy that got buffed to the only Nilfgaard card that actually got a change, whatever he's called. Infantry something, I don't know. Anyway, I'm looking to see if people would maybe run a one-off tech, because I feel like in a mirror, I mean, that is obviously pretty big, being able to use that on a Cantarella or something, and kind of keeping an eye open for those. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see from these kind of standard Nilfgaard lists. But yeah,
and we can move on I guess into the line pockets next in line. Yeah, not a whole lot of changes, right? It's just that one provision change, right, with Tunnel Drill. Going up to that 7 provisions, not like a super significant change to the strongest deck in the game. So, and I mean, it does feel kind of bad, not having something like a Payday or something. Cam's not running any Paydays in his list, just running the Halfling Safecrackers. Wait, what happened to the... Oh, there, she's back.
Sorry. I had a stroke. I'm back. Don't worry. It's my USB port. It's bad. Sorry.
And then, but yeah, Payday's super good card. Unfortunate that foregoing that here with Cam's lists.
Let's move on to the next one then. Carapaccio. The good old Kelly Smelly. So the smell of sulfur is reeking out of this one, with the dragon obviously being included here as always in a Kelly list. You can't play Smelly without Kelly. And we see the usual suspects again: the Siri Dash, Cave Troll, Heat Wave, Clotilus. Another list that is very prominent, and also kind of on and off sometimes in the meta, proving out to change as the meta changes. There are certain decks it definitely doesn't like that much, but other than that, it's pretty flexible, especially in a tournament setting. Clotilus can be a really nice deck to play, as it's flexible, and usually it just plays for good value, and you can control the coin as well. And even if you can't, it's still flexible in either way. So it's a pretty nice tournament deck to go, and Kams is clearly feeling comfortable enough to pilot that one. So he's bringing the trusty dragon to the party, which is more than fair enough.
Yep, if you just want to continue, I'm going to get all the round stuff ready to go so you can go over the...
Oh, hey, another devotion list where you have to draw your cards. And from the games that we've casted, I believe Kams has brought this devotion list a couple of times for Quill and Cup, and he always manages to draw well. So I would be very surprised if he can't do it this time. I'm always as impressed like when Devotion ST draws that well, but he believes in this list and is comfortable with this one. To Palco, of course, being a nice inclusion. If it's controllable, that's too bad. But if he sticks, he can do a lot of damage and really help bring a little bit of that control aspect into this list with some of those rebukes and other nature specials, pyrotechs even. You can definitely control some stuff. If you have Palco, you also have the defender. Something to get through. Also, the tech card of bringing Polly can be really nice. Movement is valuable. Let's say you play against Kelly, Polly can counter something like that. It's just a good card to have. You could even move your own units if you're in trouble. If those little tokens would just spawn on the range row and you don't have space for Gestras, something like that. He's just very flexible and nice to have. And then the gold look very similar to what they usually do from this list. Dunka, nice carryover. Aethna, value with your symbiosis engines that it spawns, and all of those special cards, Gestras points, Protector points, Call of Forest, obviously your only tutor that you can find from FOB. Also, I guess being a tutor for the specials, but no one Aromancy, nothing like that, but still works out when it works out. And points.
Yep, and then we can quickly go over Napoleon's list. I believe the invites are already coming in.
That was fast.
Yep.
Okay.
They smorked the bans really quick too. We got the line pockets ban, Napoleon's line pockets banned, and then Kam's double cross has been banned, as well as Kam's gonna be starting on blue.
All right. Do you want to talk a bit about these lists? I felt like I was channeling my inner rap god there for a second, but
can you channel rap god once again while I just make sure that...
Of course, I just wanted you to say that. No. I'm kidding. We see a V, big alternative thing to play for monsters. We see V doing well in tournaments. Obviously plays tall. Anything that can remove tall stuff and control these consumes is dangerous, which is probably why Kams' Nilfgaard list there saw a ban, because typically V is something that struggles against Nilfgaard being able to control and remove the valuable stuff here. Either at place tall, you see a Doragarian here, actually a lock there to go for some engine, maybe a Gestras that you really have to make sure you control. But yeah, also quite similar to what we've seen. So let's go to Patricidal Fury. It's a warrior list that is not an ace list, which is a little bit different, of course. This list does allow you to play stuff like Champion's Charge, maybe even just quite nice against something like Kelly, being able to spawn those little tokens, kind of nullify that. It's not that bad, but it is interesting to see rather than ace. To me, it feels like in most cases, ace is a little bit better, but maybe not in a tournament setting. We'll see about that. Other than that, Strong Warriors, Gold Core, Hemdall is also here. Classic with the Patricidal Fury combo. So anything that goes wide, this can take care of something like Raka Swarm, for example.
All right, I'm just going to make sure... I'm just going to accept the invitation, and I guess we can just talk about the final list until we hopefully make it in again. So I'm just going to...
Shield Wall. Okay, Shield Wall is... this is super old school, I feel like, for NR. This is a couple patches back. Key cards being Visaga, you want to hide him behind a defender, you want to play her in say a Seltzkirk to duel, use your leader charges on those, and play engines to win rounds. That's what you want to do. Let's go into the games, right?
Yeah, and actually making it in again. Holy, it is it is absolutely smurfing today. Let's go.
Okay. The tournament client smurfing. That's an expression.
Someone no one has ever said before. So what a special day.
This is, yeah, this is amazing. Okay. Okay, as Lance already revealed to us, we have Kams going on blue coin, taking the good old, I can't say smelly, and I just always call it smelly, so I want to say that. But Keltul is gonna see play here. And Endearmast is a nice card to find, but other than that, there isn't really a Siri, no defender. A lot of those gold engines you're missing out here too when you're Cams. And Napoleon then again goes for the B on a red coin. And what do we see from this list?
I mean, overall, it just seems like a very, V doesn't do too many crazy things. And we see the Forktail coming down really quick to just eliminate these Neckers. Forktail getting some really good value right there, getting rid of them, and quickly clapping these one-strength units off the board.
Yeah, I'm wondering here what the mill target would be if there was any Horrocrux. It's kind of what I'm looking at right here. But yeah, also Doragir, really interesting. Because you can't really get through that defender, so there's still nothing really to lock from Kelly as it can use the veil, but it definitely means Kams has to be a little bit, just keep that Doragir and its existence in mind, I suppose.
Something you're always going to have to consider for sure. It's nice having the Superior Phantom engine, though, having its own veil as well. I always really like this card quite a bit for monsters.
All right, Napoleon looking to thin out those foglets. The V is in hand here. And, Endearmast is really nice to find. Obviously, there's a Noggle for tutoring out any of these cards as well. So, yeah. In terms of consume engines, there is an Endrega Warrior so far.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate hand for Napoleon, as there's, like I said, only that one consume. So either you're using this and some leader charges, or you're spending Haunt this round to really get the consumes down. And you can't reasonably just leave V sitting out on board, so this Endrega Warrior isn't really...
Exactly. No, this Haunt makes a lot of sense because of that reason exactly. Otherwise, Napoleon definitely... I mean, Cam's probably being happy seeing some leader charges and stuff, but yeah. Cam's just setting up all of his engines to hopefully get those points on the board pretty fast, and they'll keep on ticking, while Napoleon, on the other hand, is looking to get these consumes out and start eating the big centipede.
Yeah, I really like how Kams is getting value out of these Wild Hunt Hounds this round and playing them out this round. And I mean, he had both of them too, but it's kind of nice because it can be very hard to get dominance later. So getting that really good value out of them right now is really nice for him.
Yep, absolutely. And just 2 points per turn just from those two engines plus the Pyramid Phantom. It's points. So is that Ighern.
Yeah, allows these bees, these hounds to still keep ticking. It gives it really good wrath value now with this Ighern this round, and also Napoleon tries to play too tall to turn it off. Then you also have really good spores value. So not too bad of a hand for Kams, I guess, to play deep and not play committally, but
exactly. Yeah. And just looking at Napoleon, like if Napoleon's hand state would be a little bit better, maybe I'd be slightly worried for Kams, but the way that it's like the rate it's going at now, just like Lance said, there's like tall removal right now, and some of it could come down here definitely to guarantee winning the round. Here comes the Horrocrux, and we'll see what it actually mills. Highest provision card.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yeah, always milling out Kelly there. And you want to wait pretty late, obviously, with the Horrocrux to go and mill that out, because you do kind of lose the round, if that Kelly gets pulled. I mean, he's not really swarmed too much, but...
Yeah, I mean, so far, Kams has a couple of units here on the board. As of now, it's like equal. So,
yeah, just taking the spores now, and Napoleon does take the pass after just milling out that Caltullus.
Yeah, being just kind of happy with that, and being probably quite worried of continuing playing here, just hoping that the round 2 draws are going to be a little bit better.
So in terms of like cams and ants, like Wrath is going to play for a tall punish. You still have Heatwave for a tall punish, so you can deal with 2Vs now. It's just going to be a matter of hopefully, I mean, you can Neuromancy into this series, but problem is you need to kind of have that either behind a defender, but does also have the Purify for
for any Doragary locked. Yeah, definitely. I have a hard time seeing Napoleon actually being able to get some Doragary value against Keltolis, but we'll see how that turns out. And yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting.
And Kams
Napoleon not being. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Cam's just taking the dry pass here, going into the long round. I guess it's a bit awkward to want to go for a bleed, just hoping you're able to out engine the V in the long round. Like I said, you do have the 2 tall V punishes.
Yeah.
Nithral kind of gets turned off, so he's not like super significant. But Beast is going to be like a really big.
Yeah. No, there's definitely good reasons to go for that long round. Just the fact that Napoleon also hasn't set up any of those Vs yet. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but like not as much as you would have liked to. Another annoying card that we see Napoleon drawing into here is that Foglet that he wasn't able to thin out in round 1. So that one is a bit of a risky mulligan for round 3, but he was able to draw into it and then mulliganing it away rather than having to hold on to it. So, and now we're just looking to find the tutors, looking to find the consumers, and yeah.
So we see 4V in Napoleon's hand right now, and like I said, with Kams' hand, 2 of those get answered. So it's going to be about this Beast playing for value. So, you know, Cam's going to want to have that dominance for this Purify and this Beast. So, like, getting it down early and being able to purify this Doragary lock, it's going to be super significant.
That's true. That's actually something I didn't take into consideration, is the dominance that the Taskmaster requires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously dominance card's a little bit awkward against V. So.
Yeah. All right, and here comes the Nithral. Looking to keep that dominance for as long as possible, but, you know, V's here, so... Yeah. It's going to be a 1 point per turn engine, most likely.
Yeah, now this kind of like... So now he just isn't going to have the dominance to purify this Beast lock.
That's a lot of points from Doragary. Like, that's actually huge. Like, that Beast is going to grow so tall if you can't purify it. Which is something we can see Kams is trying to set up, but yeah, maybe with like a Heat Wave early. I don't know, do you even want to do that? Then it would be possible, but other than that, it's going to be a little bit of a tight spot, or like Wrath early.
I don't know. I actually kind of like this because it forces Napoleon to eat another with the Slizzard to be able to maintain dominance. Otherwise, Kams is able to purify this next turn. So, like...
Okay. I guess Napoleon then is just going with the, you know, letting Kams do that and hoping that he actually doesn't have the Taskmaster. But yeah, that's definitely a huge play, saving that Beast and making sure it takes 2 points per turn every turn for the rest of the game. Very big.
So Beast ticking again. There is this Spores, which is going to come in handy for Napoleon, obviously resetting possibly this Nithral. Also, if an early Ozrel comes down too.
Yeah, I mean, the Nithral's looking juicy. Very juicy. One nice thing with this double Slizzard that Napoleon has is he can kind of separate that. He doesn't have to force all of those consumes on one Slizzard, knowing that Kams has a lot of that tar removal. But yeah, I think the Spores kind of has to come down pretty soon because the Wrath is intimidating for sure. We'll see.
I mean, there's going to be multiple units to be able to buff up with, you know, there's another 3 points added onto that Wrath too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, Kams never really needs to kill this Barb anyway, because there's a. Oh, I guess, I mean, he might assume there's another V in hand, so I guess you'd rather have him potentially have to play tall in these Slizzards. But we do see there's only 2 Vs in left in hand, which means he just has the leader charge for. But yeah, if there were 3 in hand, then this Parasite is good.
Yeah, 2 leader churches definitely makes quite a bit of a difference for V-decks in general. All right, there's the selection coming down. Double tall removal, still waiting. But Napoleon does have these spores as well, playing for pretty solid amount of points. But yeah, a lot of removal from Kams. And Napoleon can leave that there. No point in consuming. Kams would just get more removal value, so this kind of gives away as well what the last card is there.
Yeah, that
not
is
a V. Not a Willem, not a V. And there we go. Kams being able to get solid wrath value.
Yep, and actually taking the game there. Quite easily. I mean, having the 2 tall punishes, and I mean, if Napoleon draws into one more Vi there, then Kams is definitely in a little bit of trouble for that long round. But yeah, that matchup, I don't know. It's quite a weird matchup.
It is a weird matchup. I feel like it could go either way. Like, a lot of it is very draw dependent as well, and I feel like Napoleon's round 1 hand was a bit questionable as well. Wasn't the greatest. Could have been a bit better. Not like Kams's was either, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
yeah, both of them had awkward hands, and like obviously you want to be able to not have to spend haunt. You wanted more consumes in that round 1 hand as Napoleon, so that was definitely a bit sad.
Yeah. So Kelly the Dragon is through. Can chill for a bit and see if Kams gets his other decks through as well. So we move on to the next game.
Yeah, Cam still has his double crosses banned, right? So he has lined pockets still, and then
gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty strong decks still to get through.
Exactly. And Napoleon going for the shield wall. Definitely quite nice in that it can take away some of Kams's things, especially tunnel drill. Like getting an Inseus on that feels, I mean, decent, I guess. Or I mean, cleaver, any kind of engine. Of course, tunnel drill likes to spend the coins immediately, so there might not be much left after that is done with. But still, you do have a bit of removal options. But you definitely have to be careful here. Like when you play your defender, you have to play around that Philippa. You don't want the defender to be yoinked in this matchup. You don't want your Anna to get stolen. Maybe Baron can be quite nice to have, maybe even in round 1. There's a lot going on here that Napoleon has to be a little bit wary about, but maybe it has potential against line pockets.
Yeah, we do see a pretty threatening hand from Kams here. Safecracker's playing at 8 points, as well as having Furco into Justice as well for that extra Safecracker. So going to be quite strong round 1, I feel, for Kams here. Also has potentially a Nero into like the Fist-Tech completion. Though I mean, Triss is likely to find it.
This Adalia is quite nice, you know, being able to have that shield so that small damage doesn't instantly come down and take your drummer away. So you set up your engines. Typically what this deck looks to do is trying to win that round 1 with spamming engines, click the boat, play the drummer, all of that stuff. So we'll see if it ends up working out. But with all the removal that Kams potentially has here, like taking away Anna boost, even yoinking it, it's gonna be tough, but I definitely like the choice of these shielded drummers here.
Yeah, click the it's click the boat versus click the drill. What engine is gonna?
Let's see. Both machines at work. Okay, I guess a ship isn't a machine,
It's
but
kind of weird, a tunnel drill destroying a boat, right? Like you think, yeah.
that's a big drill.
Maybe these dwarfs are onto something, and it's more like one of those amphibious vehicles. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. That's great.
Do some offshore
Okay,
drilling in the ocean.
yeah, just take that tunnel drill underwater and let's go. I could have maybe even seen holy just because Kamsa's coins weren't that big. Like maybe even TAing your Anna is something you want to do. Of course, it's a little bit not that nice if it does get stolen by a Philippa, for example. But I feel like Anna has a pretty good chance at winning round 1 still. I would like to see that come down.
Yeah, this fist deck's gonna be absolutely huge. So let's. I think that Triss has a chance to miss it, right? But
it does. I suspect there's probably an oil, yeah, a boiling oil here from Napoleon as well, making that a little bit muddier for Triss to find.
Yeah, and now the point gap's quite big. There's double drummer still sitting on the board as well that Kams has to consider. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he has to consider if I feel like Triss would be enough points, but he has to hit that fist deck. I'm pretty sure, right?
I think it's a little bit too unreliable to safely pull out, unless you can an arrow here. I mean, I suppose you could an arrow to a fist deck still if the Triss misses, but are you willing to do that?
You also have no spender on the board at the moment, so you do over profit a bit.
That too.
Just losing out on 2 coins feels terrible.
This is definitely quite interesting. An arrow definitely has to hit a spender. I mean, I like this pass because if it goes wrong, it's just not worth it, right?
Yeah, so like Selkirk's gone, but like Napoleon's probably pretty happy having to commit Selkirk there. Like that's the more unreliable tall punish. So let's see if he's able to draw the Anseus. You have access to Baron, so Baron with final say is going to be really nice. But
it's going to be nice, definitely. And yeah, Visagat is here. Let's see if he can stay alive here. No drill so far, no cleaver for Kams either. Let's see what happens here. I like Napoleon's inclusion of the siege ladder tech. In case that Visagat would get moved by a poly, maybe. Pretty funny. I mean, it's going against gift, but yeah. It's actually a fun tech. Yeah, also spending the first assault there in round 1. It's a lot of commitment as well from Napoleon. But probably worth it if you can win the round against Syndicate. Like, that's difficult. So.
Yeah, getting bled by Syndicate can definitely be quite scary. And like you have cards like Visagata, and then you have like your defender Anna, where I think you just feel all right.
I think this makes sense as well. Just really hoping that last save will be worth it.
Does not hit the max swindle, unfortunately, so it does have to spend the leader charge for that boat.
You still want to get it out. It's horribly awkward when you have to take that boat into consideration in your mulligans in round 3. You like to avoid that, so it's spending that 1 coin's fine.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fine to go for it. It's just sad that that it didn't hit the 6, obviously.
Yeah.
So Cam's just missing out on probably the gourd here. He's probably gonna cherish the heat wave a little bit more as he doesn't have final say, and there is a Baron.
Yeah.
He misses out on Varaxis and on Anseus. Not able to draw into those at all.
Great. Yeah, that's another thing, of course, with an engine heavy deck is that first say is very, very valuable. So let's see how much lacking this first say is. I mean, I feel like in order for Napoleon to actually be able to set up his engines here, he really has to make sure he can get things like this Royal Guard down and it's sticking. But yeah, it takes time, and you can't just play this Visagata with the risk of Philippa. You have to aim for that defender that you also don't want to get Philippa. It's a lot, and the sequencing will definitely get awkward for Napoleon here.
Yeah, obviously you wanna get your engines down early, and that's a little bit of the thing that's a little bit sad.
Yeah.
with engine matchups when it's order advantage, and the cool thing about line pockets is a bit of both, right? It's a bit of that engine,
Mhm.
but then you also have like, so whereas shield wall, I don't know, probably ideally would like be going first. Like that order advantage is so nice to force your opponent to have to
I
answer
think
your
so.
things.
I think so. Definitely. Like Camps being able to set up a cleaver and then instantly going for other stuff is definitely nice.
So Cam's opting not to get the boat out here, just saving, I guess, that coin slot for the tunnel drill so it doesn't over profit, but likely,
Yeah. Seems to be the case. Also, this Baron value is starting to look pretty nice on the cleaver already. And here's the Philippa for a defender, which was kind of expected. But at this point, Visagara is big enough to help Napoleon a little bit. But Tunnel Drill instantly coming in and getting rid of some engines if Kams really wants to spend those coins. Ideally, he plays something like Swindle first to get that coins up, and then go for the Tunnel Drill.
Yeah, just trying to get the initial value out of Visigoda here because probably expects him to get answered. You could just see like a cheat wave potentially come down on it too.
Yeah. There comes that arrow, and there's the heat wave. Or is it a poison? No. I could have seen even a poison just to fill up those coins, but then again, you do have the swindle, so I guess you don't really need that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then also like you give him a couple of like because each charge is playing for those extra points and like
And that's a bit of a late ship to come down, unfortunately, as well as Anna. She's kind of late to the party at this point as well, and now Kams is able to profit a lot with this swindle, putting that bank to the maximum limit, and then it's time for tunnel drill to start spending.
Yeah, I got the max value swindle there to thin that boat out is quite nice.
Yeah. And here's where none of those engines are going to stick anymore, so your Anna is most likely dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Napoleon knows that, so he's not playing them.
Yeah, Baron gonna come down for, like you said, really good value. But again, missing out on both the Varaxis and the Anseus here.
It hurts. Yeah, definitely hurts Napoleon here.
So what will Kams decide to do here? This oil being able to answer tunnel drill is quite alright too.
Yeah.
So Cam's gonna have to fully spend out.
Yep, there we go. That comes out. Then Napoleon, those things are so fast. Napoleon obviously answers with the oil here, as expected. But this something like Anna just having to wait so long to come down on the board is not great.
Look at the double oil purify value.
Wow, the Trident would still be alive. That would be a little bit, a little bit of points actually, maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. With order advantage and then missing out on those cards, it looks like line pockets is just kind of easily kind of handling this.
Yeah, there's enough of everything. Just like you said, you have your cleaver, you also have your removal, you have your spenders. It's a good balance of everything.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Yeah, cleaver just efficiently spending as well too. Like spending his coins this round was just very efficient in terms of like
super. Yeah, that's definitely something that you can, or I don't know if you struggle with it with Syndicate, but definitely have to be aware of how you do. Don't over profit, maximize your points and all of that. So it's definitely a certain kind of sequencing that you have to be aware of. But
well, it's more of just that Syndicate is just really nice spenders at the moment. Like Tunnel Drill and Cleaver are just super nice. Like
yeah. All right, there we go. We can see the point gap. Fortunately, big here, and Cam's taking it. And Shield Wall, unfortunately, would have looked a lot different if there wasn't Inseus, maybe. If there was... I mean, even then, Kams had such a good hand that Viraxis is really going to be kind of the deal breaker, I feel like. But, yeah.
Well, and then getting the Philippa on the defender, like, you know...
What do you do with Inseus, then, potentially? Yeah. It is. It is difficult to fight Syndicate if you don't really don't draw the tools that you need.
But yeah, it's super nice, you know, in that matchup, obviously being able to get your cleaver set up, like having that order advantage for that round 3, getting your cleaver set up, and then you're still be able to get all that value onto your crimes while removing their side of the board as well is just, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Right, we're gonna move on to the next one. Now, Kams has to get the gift list through while Napoleon still has a fighting chance with each one of his deck, and he's queuing the V deck again on red, believing in this big centipede to outpoint these green forest friends.
Yeah, both things are quite disgusting. You know, it's hard to pick which is more vile, but you know. It actually could be kind of annoying for Kams to get his gift through, right? Like Shield Wall should do pretty well into it. Vial should do pretty decent into it as well, as long as it draws reasonably well. And then what's Napoleon's final list?
Napoleon's final list. Oh, let's have a look.
Patricidal Fury.
It was bad, right? Yeah.
Patricidal Fury will be tough.
Absolutely. Getting this dunk out here is quite nice. Having it tech here for carryover, pretty much the ideal scenario of drawing Dunka, really. And you have your Gestras. The Gestras not gonna get milled, so let's see. What is it that it will? Is it Forest Protector? No, it's Aethna, right? That will get milled here from Ihuaraquox potentially.
Yeah, Aethna getting milled is quite sad, obviously.
That hurts for sure. If it were to happen this round.
Yeah, the sad thing is that Napoleon would have to spend an extra tutor to mill out.
Yeah, that is true. But overall, Napoleon's hand is looking okay. I mean, those fork tails definitely are nice. I don't know about round 1 if it's as nice as later on, but yeah, maybe Kams' board is gonna get wide enough soon enough that both of them will get solid value. Before I see a lot of armor, but
well, again, Napoleon's running into the bit of the issue here where, you know, you have to spend Haunt again to be able to consume all these Vs.
Yeah,
like it's
not a lot of consumes to be found from this hand, that is right. So we're gonna have to see what happens. First Forktail coming down though for a little bit of damage, but this kind of gives Kams the ability of winning the round without like really having to spend too much if Napoleon isn't going to start putting those points on the board soon. Which, yeah, the Haunt comes down here just because of those consumes being so very needed here.
Yep, and Kams just playing for value, going super tall onto this Hamadryad, getting the full value out of this Vitality Echo. Getting his
and having Dunkatic here is also really nice. Like in general, like Kams has drawn most of his cards except for that Aethna, and we don't see any Horrocks yet. And just like Lance said, he would have to come out of a tutor for V, so maybe Kams has a shot at actually getting the Aethna later. But points are going to start coming down now from Napoleon's side of the board.
And Kams playing relatively slow yet, just still kind of developing that carryover. I think he's going to start to get worried pretty soon, though. You know, another chapter of this Haunt is getting procced, as well as these Vs starting to ramp up in size.
Yeah, here comes the tutor for the Warwalks, and here is the Aethna, and it does get milled this round. I think Napoleon is pretty happy to see that Aethna come out there.
No point in showing mercy.
Rather than something like an Gestras that still will tick and help Kams win the round. So yeah, and Gestra still comes out. So that's a lot of provisions already spent here.
Well, Napoleon's able to go quite further into this round too. You know, still has 2 more tutors that he can still spend out. This Spores is coming down for a whole heck of a lot of points too. So
yeah.
Kams is. I just feel like Kams is in a really, really bad spot here. Now this Pavko getting down so late too. Like,
yeah, it's really nice carryover to have on it, but considering how late it comes out here, not really playing for values.
I guess just going for defender. I guess defender's pretty nice too. Here because you're actually getting value out of your defender, right? Like not being able to allow this Dryad to be reset is actually quite huge. So like.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, there's units for Gestras to jump on and boost. Not just one, but two. So that is definitely an advantage for Kams. But, you know, again, point gap is not that big. Napoleon still sits there with a Neuromancy, but also lacking consumes. So it's a little bit of a tricky spot as to what to go for. He definitely was looking to reset that Hamadryad with the spores. Oh wow. Okay. It's a pass, but it is also quite expensive for Kams. But look at this Pavko, like that's gonna be big.
Yeah, Pavko is definitely a big boy. And there's no like tall punishes or anything really that he has to worry about other than like spores. So and having final say is quite big. Although like playing Shaping Nature, it's like you can't just go like super greedy onto like the Hamadryads anymore now that your defender's gone, because spores again.
Spores exist, yep. That's right. Finding Polly here, yeah.
Okay, well, there's only one Vi currently for Napoleon here, so this is gonna be quite.
Actually, mulliganing the spores. I did not really see that one coming.
Salty winds are blowing.
Okay, salty winds indeed blowing here as we blow into this bleed, and we see the Dorgary come down.
We also see the caress getting value at the same time. Instantly caresses the Pavko. I hated saying that, but that happened.
Yeah, and still waiting to get these larvae down as well. So those are going to be potentially awkward towards the end, but
yeah,
you know, we do have 2 Vs in hand. Again, you're going to have to spend both leader charge to do so, but.
See, so emoted. Can't open up the emote game. Oh.
Yeah, we got the shoop off right now.
The shoop off is happening, and it's a pumpkin shoop or the
vanilla
shoop. Also, these larvae coming down a little bit late. Super slow play from Napoleon for now. Of course, to get a V is a lot of points, but not quite enough just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, these rats do turn off Pavko.
Yeah, 1 point per turn now. Bit of an oh, indeed. Shaping Nature is still coming down for value. Like, Cam sees the point gap, and he's like, might as well take it. Oh, look at that. Now the Forktail, now that one of those rats is boosted, the Forktail does not re-enable the Pavko, which is quite nice for Napoleon.
Yeah, like buffing that rat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got 18.
Okay.
We got...
Yeah, you do the quick.
I think that's always enough, right?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you don't get 2-0'd here. No.
But we'll see. And I mean, Napoleon's top decking into the Aniro for round 3. I guess Kams.
Is this? Let's see. 20?
Yeah, I mean easily.
Already? Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
Shouldn't even question the big centipede.
So Kams, I guess, was just using leader charges so he could beat 1v.
Yeah. And then hoping that Napoleon has bad enough of a hand there, so.
But then he never beats 2, and now he's top decking into 2 Vs. For the next round.
Not happening for Kams. This game definitely kind of seals the deal. Napoleon being able to pull off another big centipede in round 3, at least, probably even more. And Neuromancy, you know, you're hoping you're drawing into some other tutors as well. You have Billum and ADC still there in deck. Consume.
Yeah. And Napoleon also. Wait, why did he mulligan the Slizzard? There's no. Okay, he finds the Bargus. Luckily, like he could have. I don't know. There's no. Oh wait,
I guess
there's
you
a
have a
rebuke in
leader
hand.
charge, and then
There is a rebuke in hand. I was looking in the deck for. Yeah, I was looking in the deck, but it was already in his hand.
right. And yeah, no, there is no leader charge. But then again, you can just. Yeah, there is nothing that Kams can use to remove here. Yeah, and Kams sees the V, so he knows. All right, the big centipede getting through.
Yeah, I mean,
for it is a little bit, you know, Kams really well just utilizing kind of the power that he did have in round 2, knowing that if he doesn't go for it, then it's sketchy anyway. So
yeah, I mean, Kams lost a lot of his power in round 1. It was a super expensive round for him, and then just Napoleon having those 2 V's. I'm like saying it a different way each time because everybody has like their own way they say V pretty much.
I just say V now because it's easier. I started out saying view.
Yeah, you started out saying view, and that was one I actually never heard.
Too exhausting. I couldn't keep it up.
You're like the only one I've heard that actually called it view.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. It just stuck with me until it was too hard to continue.
Trying to be.
You have to make the sound when you're saying it as well. You can't be like view. Because I was like,
you're a little bit too much of a hipster.
There's no such thing as too much.
Not too much of a hipster. I mean, there is, right? Like, you become too much of a hipster, then it's not hipster to be hipster anymore.
Are you saying I'm not hipster? Okay. There is some things that are too much, but one of them.
Yeah, your mom's definitely not too much.
Okay.
I mean, we went 2.5 hours. I think you were like, okay, I'm gonna get out of this just fine. You know, no mom jokes.
I think that's a record. I think we should note that down. 2.5 hours until the first mom joke. When normally it's 2.5 minutes, so that's an accomplishment.
True. I don't know, like the break in my streaming, you know. I have that to blame for it. You know, I haven't been around in Twitch chat this much this week, so like my game's a little off. So I gotta.
Maybe that's a bad thing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean it's probably for the better that I'm not just in Twitch chat all day.
No, we want you in chats. Don't be gone for too long.
Yeah, I mean.
All right.
It's probably negatively affecting like me as a human being though. Just saying degenerate things all the time just because it's like, oh, I'm in a Twitch chat saying kek W's and lols. And then you accidentally go and say it at work and you're like, kek, wait.
Cool. That's true. All right, shield wall against the broccolis. Let's see. Who's going to prevail here? Just like Lance mentioned, shield wall definitely has a pretty good chance here of defeating Devotion. The main thing being all the engines and Devotion ST really not being able to answer any of those. You also have your Saltkirk, and Sayus if you try this time to contest these engines like Hamadryads and Gastress, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean Napoleon's hand is pretty nice. I have to say. You know, you have access to your oil if you need it this round 2 to play for some good value. You have your AA. You have the Selkirk and the siege support as well to potentially just spend out here to take the round 2 with the stratagem. So like you're all set to go. You have your top end. The only thing you're looking for is the Varaxis here. So
yeah, this time Napoleon hopes he finds that Varaxis. Varaxis is slacking. He hasn't seen that much play, so I think he still thinks he's on vacation. But Napoleon's like, come on, let's go. Let's see if Varaxis listens or not. But yeah, usually something that Shieldwall NR did really well in the past is winning round 1 with not a lot of commitment. And it seems like Napoleon is doing quite well at kind of recreating that scenario here with his own boats and engines ticking.
Yeah, we do see Kams having the Dunka coming down a little bit late to get buffing here. Still going to develop a little bit of carryover, and we're going to see some pretty interesting 50-50s coming down as well with this Dunka, as, you know, Ithne being an evolving card. A little bit sad that evolving cards are in this kind of like hand buff faction. But yeah.
Yeah, it's awkward when that Duncan wants to help her friend Aethna. I mean, she can't now; she's dead. But you know, in the past, she would have helped Aethna, and then Aethna kind of says, "Okay, thanks, but no thanks," when she transforms and leaves the boost behind.
Yeah.
The game where Kams doesn't want Aethna in his hand.
Yeah, and now Napoleon's hand's starting to get a little bit awkward to play out here. I mean, this Selkirk here completely okay. You have this order down on the board, so I can see committing this Selkirk, and then any further though is a little bit tough.
Absolutely, but then again, the point gap at that point will start to get a little bit tight if Kams, Kams as well doesn't want to play that much here, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe that Selkirk can keep. Never mind. There was a pass. There was 2 passes in a row, and I did miss that for some reason. Yeah. Sorry about that, chat.
Cam's able to take that with double leader charge. I mean, now he gets the option to potentially go for this bleed here. We have the first AA first AA is out, so that's a little bit unfortunate for Napoleon to not take that round when you spend out first AA like that. But
absolutely.
Well, we see Baron being a nice, big, thick. I'm not fat shaming, by the way, chat. But Baron being a nice, really nice card to defend a bleed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Any big Hamadryad, he'll say no, not allowed, and just reset those boosts. Really allowing for Napoleon to have some good point reach if it comes down to that. And Kams is kind of hoping that there isn't any of these good cards in Napoleon's hand. Maybe his hand is a little bit awkward. Oh my god, look at this. The Napoleon's coming down to move the Visagara, but look at that Siege Ladder tech coming in hot.
Yeah, Siege Ladder.
You love to see it.
And he can just
tech paying off.
Napoleon can just let it sit too, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Just come up with
he can pretend like he just needs to think about how many times he can click the Visagara. Enough times to not rope out.
Very fitting though, like the surprise of the Siege Ladder at the end, because it has a little bit like, the Siege Ladder itself is like trying to surprise the enemy and climbing up to go stab him. So it's kind of what.
And he actually does that. Yeah, that's definitely nice. Okay, and Napoleon now just playing that defender. I guess there aren't really any engines to play unless you want to commit that AA, and that's not really anything that Napoleon's looking to do. So yeah, Kams just really putting cards on that range throw. Here comes the defender, something Napoleon has to deal with before dealing with Gestris.
Yeah, and this Visigoda has 7 charges already chilling here. So like AA into something like a Trident Infantry becomes like just this massive play. But you're gonna have to have that Siege Ladder down obviously first. So
there's just so many points here that Kams was able to put there on the board in one turn. Like that is starting to look a little bit scary. That's a lot of points already. Gestris just hitting once is quite nice.
No point in showing mercy.
Like there we go. There it is. Point gap being quite big here. Now, Napoleon has to do something about the Gestris when it pops off, but here comes the Trident. Pinging away. Napoleon said, this is as many times as I can click the Visagara, so I'm just going to move it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's something when you let the Visigoda build up charges like that. You got to think about your something to consider is not just like the points, but your APM. Is the game going to be a little bit too slow and I'm going to miss out here? And oh, it's so juicy, like when you build up like a large, like 20 points of boost on Visigoda, it's kind of satisfying to click, but also terrifying.
Also terrifying when you're working against the rope. But yeah, these Trident pings proved out to be pretty useful here for Napoleon, being able to remove quite some stuff.
And it looks like Cam's just playing around the removal onto this Gestris, so it gets to live a little bit longer.
Yep. And Now the shield comes down on Anseus.
But not really playing around the shield.
No. That exists. I mean, it did a little bit damage back to Anseus. Usually it's like a clean kill, but not this time. So there we go. The point game is looking nice. I mean, this is looking nice for Napoleon. Like, you saved that gore, that Baron for the gourd. You're really happy if you can get this card advantage too, which is the range that Napoleon is in right now. And Cam spending that the Protector doesn't really do that much now that Gestrus is dead and you don't really have much engine value.
Yeah, you need to get a unit so tall just to be able to actually like to play around these shields. Like it's always disgusting what they can actually kill. And
it's like, yeah, it just makes the kill double.
Yeah, it reminds me of back in beta. I was a Royal Decree Henselt. Back when Royal Decree like boosted a unit by 2 as well.
Yeah.
Royal Decree into Selkirk. A lot of people would play around the initial Selkirk duels, but then wouldn't play around the 2 extra points added on the duel. And I mean, it's kind of similar with shields. Like you force your opponent to like start thinking a lot more about duel math.
But that's the thing, though. Can you play around the shield like ever?
Yeah, not really. I mean, the shield.
Look at my Baron getting value now. Like, I don't know. Playing around shields is I don't know if you can do them, but.
Adalia and Varax is at the bottom of the deck. A little bit sad there, but.
Varax he's so tired. He doesn't want to come out. He's a bit. Maybe he's shy. Hasn't seen a lot of play recently, so he's a bit. His ego might be a bit hurt.
He's too busy dancing, and I think his ego is fine. Like, he's got a nice lass right there.
Maybe. Yeah, for now.
Just wait for her to, she turns around and it's Chat's mom. I was gonna, like, make something more clever. Yeah, that was not a good one. But this is your mom, Chat. This is me. Before I shaved and cut my hair.
Alright, here's Selkirk. Just chilling. Pamko being able to ping off that shield is quite nice.
Yeah, you're able to do some damage to Selkirk, obviously, but this Marine lying in wait just to buff it up, and then that'll be the end of Mr. Bowman. Unfortunately,
it is Pamko's downfall. The Anna, again, just taking so much time to show up. He's gonna have to wait for a bit. I mean, she'll still boost just because she gets boosted by the drummer. I guess Kams just says that Pavko's dying anyway, so maybe he's trying to aim for just damage value on the Pavko rather than pinging off a shield.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's quite doomed.
There's not a lot that Kams can do, especially his pyro risks hitting a shield too, and the boost value is definitely going to come down from that shipping nature onto the Baron. Some Baron food.
Yeah, it's the shield as well. Oh no.
I mean, even if it didn't, it was still looking good for Kams.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just like Napoleon had good enough answers.
Icing on the cake,
yeah. He had good enough answers in the round 2 bleed there. That the siege ladder being such a hot tech for that Visigoda value. So yeah, I mean, having an extra like it played for the 6, but also like enabled your Visigoda to play for like an extra like, I don't know, 12 or 13 points, something like that. Like the siege ladder is so big.
And the siege ladder was great. It's like such a mulligan target in most cases, and here actually, yeah, I did call this play earlier in another game where I said the siege ladder is a really fun tech if your Visagara gets removed by a Gale, or no, what's his name, the Polly guy.
Yeah.
Against Gift, and then it happened. So I jinxed it for Napoleon, and he should thank me for that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it's a really fun play, and I'm happy we saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice when you put a card that kind of like plays around certain things to actually be an answer for that, instead of playing that card, drawing it when you don't need it, and then mulliganing it away and then not having it when you do need it. That's always like such a sad thing about like tech cards. And
For sure. All right, and now we're going on to the final game, the deciding game. Before, Napoleon was kind of favored with his 2 decks against Gift. Historically, though, Patricide of Fury has struggled against Gift. So we'll see if Napoleon can pull this one through.
Yeah, this is going to be the testing matchup for this series for sure, and what it's going to come down to. Because again, like you said, the Valley and Shield Bar are generally pretty favored into Gift.
All right, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no. We'll see. This time, Kams is mulliganing that Aethna. No, thank you. Doesn't want any boost from Dunka this round, so she has to go.
Yeah, this is also like classic Kams though, like mulligan, like even when he doesn't have to, he likes to mulligan away his top end all the time, and then just he always manages to draw it again. Like there's sometimes even in round 2s where he'll just like mulligan it away too, and then just find it.
The nice thing, like with a Gift deck, you can just freely do it because it's like, well, you don't have tutors anyway, so you just hope that you draw it. When it's like decks where you have maybe like tutors, and then you're like, should I mulligan this high end gold or not? Will I draw it again? And then you still miss out on stuff. I mean,
this
you miss out on you can't really do that, but it's a fine play when you want to play deep with the hand you have, and you have some kind of tutor to secure it later.
Yeah, playing deep, something your mom has a lot of familiarity with. But yeah, this Dunka absolutely smurfing this round. He's going to have so much carryover built up for Kams going into this round too. And if Napoleon's not able to take the round, all the carryover being converted into tempo for that round 2 is going to be super terrifying.
Yeah, and the nice thing about these ships is that they're not going to hit that many things anymore. There's a lot of specials that Kams can kind of just play out and really minimize the value, not giving those ships much value at all. And yeah, we see, like, for example, Napoleon's hand, like, he never wants to play that Herald. He probably wants to hold on to the Morkberg. Maybe not if it can win him the round, but it is looking a little bit bleak. So what Napoleon is doing here is he's basically saying, all right, I can't win this round. I don't want that Duncan to take anymore. I'm just going to pray to the Gwenti gods that I can somehow get through later and save my provisions for that.
Yeah, and I guess just looking to thin there at the rating. I mean, rating fleet's still pretty good, but like the boats do get pretty easily answered, by the rebukes and such. So they're not like super.
And look at Kams drawing into the 8th, and clearly there is something going on. And maybe he sees the future, and he knew he was going to draw back into the 8th. But yeah, it's definitely a nice round 1 mulligan. You don't ever want to play 8th in round 1 anyway, so why keep it? All right, and I mean, Napoleon has some stuff going on for him. He can deal with a tall Hamadryad with either his Morkvarg. He also has Champion's Charge. And I want to say that if Napoleon can get out of this spot that he's in right now, I think that, like, a short round 3, he might even have it. Like, imagine you somehow can save that Morkvarg for round 3 and kind of utilize your leader to block a row or something to nullify extras. There are definitely plays you can take with Patricide of Fury, which is interesting, but Hemdall being a really big card, but it can definitely be tricky to keep up with Gift.
Yeah, no 6 damage potential right now for Napoleon, so Pavko safe to get online right away. And then, like how we see in Kams' hand, we see the defender ready to come on down for a little bit of the defending, if you will, and that's really nice because there's no Grimace to go and purify this defender tag off. So
yeah, to deal with that defender, you either need Bloodthirst, which you're not going to get, or enough of these small damage things that you can kind of takes time to set up, and meanwhile Kams has time to boost that defender if he wants to. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be tricky for Napoleon to get through that, and that Pavko is going to be able to do a lot of damage in between.
Yeah, he's also able to buff Pavko back up a little bit too. There's also this tempering able to play for play for keeping this defender alive a little bit too if he's not able to kill it off in this one turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tempering gonna play for some good extra value.
Yep, that is definitely nice getting that one out. And this is exactly what is the difficult thing. Now you try to set up those small pings and a little bit of damage value, but then there's just a boost and you can't really do nothing. However, something like Champion's Charge does get more value, but then again, it's like, what do you answer the Gestures with? You kind of need to keep an answer for your Gestures.
Yeah, and Cam's just continuing to play for carryover. Nothing super committal, just allowing this POV code just to keep applying the pressure this round.
Yeah.
And something like Ithne, you know, based on the specials he played out, I mean, you could still play her out. You still have, you know, 2 more specials in hand, but possibly something you're just going to save for that short round 3 value.
Definitely. This is quite the tricky spot for Napoleon for sure. We actually see Harold coming down to get one of these small damage, a little damage coming down on the board, which is, you know, which is fair. Definitely have to start playing some big points here. Try to keep up with whatever is going on Kams' side of the board, which is literally just points and value that is very difficult for Napoleon to interact with right now.
Yeah, and we do see Gezris turning red. He's online. The blood is flowing. The adrenaline is all ready to go for whenever Kams decides to play it. Again, not too full of a back row yet for this Gezris. So
this is nice though for Napoleon in that he can get through that Gezris now. You can leader in Champion's Charge, and yeah, obviously Morgberg is gone now, but it's a pretty efficient way of dealing. I think it's your most efficient way, really, of dealing with that defender, which you eventually have to.
Mm-hmm. And Cam's possibly just trying to get him to commit this leader in Champion's Charge by giving Napoleon juicy targets.
Yeah, Napoleon isn't going for it. Totem is a dice tempo play, but I could also see trying to save that totem for something like round 3. But Napoleon, as long as he has reach, he wants to get out of this, like not having to commit a lot. But once that Gestures comes online, I feel like it is time to leader for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much left for Napoleon, really. I mean, there's Hemdall and Leader and Kaduk in his hand right now, but like other than that, like you're not like.
Yeah, playing Totem is kind of your round 3. Like Harold and Totem, I could see as round 3 plays, but it also is understandable that you have to keep up with the points here, so that's why you commit those cards as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, looks like Kams is going for the Forest Protector again. Let's see if he gets a spawn back row. He does get a spawn back row. Yet another body for Gezris when it decides to come down. Just that extra initial point of value here. And still holding the leader charger, still has potential to also play for another 4 points on this Hamadryad too. So.
All right, and Heron Kaduk coming down before anything else. Maybe Napoleon is hoping he can take this with like a Hemdall, but yeah. For now, the point gap isn't so bad, but again, guess who's gonna play for a load?
It's not for me.
This is kind of interesting triggering this totem. You could let that totem sit because that Gestures, I guess the Gestures is goners anyway. You have to play the leader in Champion's Charge.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of things to be able to hit this gourd in the short round too.
Yeah, no, this is where it comes down. The point gap is too big. Gestures has to go.
Yeah, oh god.
It's such a big play, and not getting ahead with that is like Kams being able to save this 8th in the first short round, and Napoleon having to still commit a pretty good card to catch up in points is quite huge. Because the Hemdall definitely, oh yeah, is forced to the gutting slash is barely enough. So, is it?
Yeah. It's
not yeah, you have the heal. You have the heal. Never mind. Yeah, I missed that one, but yeah. Saving Hemdall is good. That's really nice. I was a bit worried there for Napoleon.
So Napoleon is Hemdall, Skjordo, Blood Eagle. It's
Yeah.
really about it in terms of like cards.
And Kams has a lot of tall stuff going on here. Like, even if he doesn't find the gourd, you really like a tall removal, and that Blood Eagle is never getting... I guess it does actually get it with the tree ends, so you can definitely find Skjordo, but by the time you find Skjordo, there's going to be a little bit too much on the board, and you'll remove something, but not enough.
Well, Falve would be ideal for Kams to find here. Possibly also this call or council too. Ooh, misses? Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. Also, a bit of an awkward hand for Napoleon having to play this Bear Witcher out for 5 points. Not really any proactivity going on here.
They need protection from them.
Like a Gutting Slash for 4 points isn't that great. Just waiting for kind of a Blood Eagle that Kams can also doesn't have to give by playing the Aethana. I guess you do get Hemdall value then, but
yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a lot closer.
He only has one boost left here on the Aethana. Actually, there is got to be a Blood Eagle target for Napoleon.
So are you a little bit happier now seeing this game? As it kind of more mirrors your gift experience? I know you're molding a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it had to happen to Kams at 1 point, unless he's made a deal with Svalbard or something.
Yeah.
But no, this kind of does. You always, a lot of the time, you feel like, oh, there's like missing out on those tutors. Kind of painful here for Kams for sure. Getting a Blood Eagle and a Skjordo here, completely eliminating the board is quite nice. But I mean, Aethana plays for a lot of points. Also, the nice thing for Napoleon is obviously Aethana has to come down before the Hemdall, enabling Mali on that.
Cam should still have this, no?
Yeah.
Let's see what this Hemdall does. Watch it just ping off this boosted. I killed off one of them. It's pretty nice, but it never really matters.
No.
All right, games number 3, or the final match goes to Kams here, still managing to pull out that win against Skellige, despite missing that much of your round 3. So
yeah, that's the thing though. If you can get your opponent to commit as much as Napoleon kind of was forced to do there in round 2, then that's how that game goes. Although it shouldn't have been even this close, but yeah, it's just. Poor Skellige against the gift matchup, like kind of this old Skellige Patras out of Fury. Ace doesn't struggle as much against it, but going for this definitely.
Yeah, and I guess
not an ideal matchup for Napoleon.